Judge Coney Barrett faced her first round of questioning. The Supreme Court nominee was grilled about her stand on abortion.
The Thornton School of Music confirms classes will be online in the spring. We have reaction from music students.
Students tired of getting Starbucks now have another option. We'll hear from USC students behind a brand new coffee pop-up near campus.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
I don't have any agenda. I have no agenda to try to overrule Casey. I have an agenda to stick to the rule of law and decide cases as they come.
Supreme Court nominee Judge Coney Barrett dodged questions about her stance on abortion rights during the second day of her confirmation hearings. I'm Zoe Ginsburg reporting from Los Angeles.
And I'm Ella Katz, also reporting from LA. Our political reporter, Isabella Bright, has more on the story.
Thanks, Ella. Senators today grilled the Supreme Court nominee on the issue of abortion and her stance on Roe v. Wade. Democrats are concerned a Barrett confirmation pushes the court to the far right. California Senator Dianne Feinstein pressed Barrett on whether she would overturn the landmark 1973 ruling.
So on something that is really a major cause with major effect on over half of the population of this country, who are women, after all, it's distressing not to get a straight answer. So let me try again. Do you agree with Justice Scalia's view that Roe was wrongly decided?
Senator, I completely understand why you are asking the question, but again, I can't pre-commit or say, yes, I'm going in with some agenda, because I'm not. I don't have any agenda.
There are 2 more days of confirmation hearings. The Judiciary Committee will then vote and send its recommendation to the full Senate. At that point, there will be a debate on the Senate floor before a final vote. Barrett must have a 51-vote majority to be confirmed. That could happen as early as the week of October 26th.
And here we are. Here we are.
President Trump is back on the campaign trail. I'm Alexis GEBHARDT reporting from Sanford, Florida. Despite his diagnosis with COVID-19 10 days prior, President Donald Trump hosts his first rally outside of Washington on Monday at the Sanford International Airport in Florida. Trump supporter Lisa Angari was at the rally. She felt her health was not at risk.
For those who are vulnerable, those are the ones I think that are more at risk. And so I think those are the ones who should be taking the precautions by wearing the mask. That being said, I did have a mask on while I was there, just out of courtesy.
But health experts like Dr. PAULA believe these rallies put people's health at risk.
It only takes one person in that crowd to have COVID, and they're going to infect. There's a high chance they'll infect the people around them, who will then go home and they will infect the people they live with and the people they work with. So this is how we get spread in the community. So getting everybody together in a large rally is just really, it's like giving a finger to the rest of us who have made all these sacrifices.
Dr. Cannon believes the president is sending the wrong message, that somehow COVID is no big deal. For Annenberg Media, I'm Alexis GEBHARDT.
Democratic nominee Joe Biden is also campaigning in the battleground state of Florida. During a 30-minute speech at a community center in Broward County, he painted Trump as posing a threat to Social Security and Medicare. Biden also blasted Trump's remarks regarding veterans. Texans joined a wave of Americans casting ballots at a record-setting pace, jamming early voting places ahead of the November 3rd election day. Voters in Georgia faced long lines yesterday, some lasting over 10 hours. That was the first day of early voting in the state that has a reputation for voting issues, such as the electronic poll books used to check in voters. Every state is offering mail-in ballots this year. Absentee voting rules and deadlines vary among states, but some allow you to cast a ballot in person before Election Day. Valid excuses may be required in order to request an absentee ballot. California's deadline for early voting is October 17th, and online voting is not an option.
With the election just 3 weeks away, students who are studying and working abroad have a longer to-do list to get their ballot in on time. We spoke to 2 people who are abroad about voting by mail.
First of all, I don't really know what I should do if I want to vote. Like, I'll have to look up vote.org, which is extremely slow, and then look through all these rules I should do, and then maybe I'll need to wait forever to receive a ballot. It makes voting just harder for me.
There's actually also a government service where if you are okay with, someone doing it for you, you can actually email them a scanned copy of your ballot with their fax cover sheet, and then they actually fax it over to your local election office for you. I encourage any people that are abroad and are US citizens to try to figure it out. It's actually really simple. I think the hardest thing is that first step, and I think there are so many resources out there now.
Here's a look at how to vote if you're a US citizen abroad. First, you submit a federal postcard application that puts you on the list of absentee voters. To receive an absentee ballot, you still need to register with local officials, providing your address and requesting a ballot, which arrives 30 to 45 days before Election Day. Finally, make sure to return your ballot on time. If local mail isn't reliable, many states have online resources to submit your ballot virtually.
The future of the gig economy is on the California ballot this November. Voters will decide how workers like Uber and Lyft drivers will be classified under California law. I'm Camilla Thurdicus in South Los Angeles, and I spoke to 2 drivers for their thoughts on the measure.
The ads on Proposition 22 are everywhere.
Join me and hundreds of thousands of drivers in voting yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes on Prop 22.
Vote no on Prop 22. One ride California doesn't want to take.
Uber and Lyft and other companies that rely on drivers are spending a record $184 million to fund the Yes on Prop 22 campaign. They want to overturn a California law that makes their drivers company employees instead of independent contractors, with higher wages and benefits. Some drivers say they like the flexibility a Yes on Prop 22 offers.
The independence of being able to work when I want and where I want, as I have grandchildren and elderly parents, and so I can care for them, and this gives me the ability to juggle all of these things.
Drivers against Prop 22 want workers' compensation, paid sick leave, and a minimum wage paid for all hours worked, including wait times in between rides.
State of California has ensured that, we should be treated as decent employees, make a decent wage, and the flexibility is not an issue.
Opponents voting no argue the campaign money could have been spent on the employee benefits they're fighting for.
This is a big, big corporation that spends lots of money. I mean, they're spending so much money to oppose this thing that all this money they spent could have been used to support their drivers, provide insurance, to, cover sick leave, all these little things that us drivers need.
The model of being an employee for somebody like me who's retired and has a lot of other things you do just would not work. It simply wouldn't.
No matter which side wins, the result of Proposition 22 will mark the end of a nearly 2.5-year battle between gig companies and the state. Hundreds of thousands of independent contractors in California uncertain of their future until then. For Annenberg Media, I'm Camilla Thurdicus.
Free COVID-19 antibody tests are being offered to South LA residents. We spoke to the chairman of the foundation providing these tests about why antibody testing is so important to this community.
All you're testing with the swab is symptomatic people. You're missing the majority of patients who actually are infected. But what we found that was really of concern was in the 18 or younger crowd, it was 19%. And the reason for that is, I've been there and done that. You think you're invincible at that age. You don't have to follow all the rules. And so they're more likely to transmit it to each other. And the reason it's important is because they're going to go home. And their parents may be older or their grandparents may live there. And us older folks are more susceptible to complications than the younger folks.
The pop-up site has Spanish translators for patients who don't speak English and is testing until this Thursday. You can book an appointment between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. and learn more at www.guardaheart.org.
Students at USC's Thornton School of Music just found out that all instruction, including classes, rehearsals, and lessons, will be remote for the spring semester. I spoke to students about how they've been managing via Zoom.
Music is so hard to do online. I find it kind of hard to gain inspiration for myself because typically in music schools you walk into the practice building and then you can see and hear people around you practicing.
Definitely not getting the value of our degree. And I felt that way ever since we shifted to online. Our teachers are really cool, but it's weird having new teachers in a major where we're so used to having such close personal relationships with our teachers.
It's one of those things where you have to be flexible, you have to adapt. And now that I've had most of this semester under my belt, yeah, sure, it sucks, but I'm still making stuff. I've made more music this half a semester than I have in a long time.
Students do say they are optimistic about some of the hybrid opportunities that were outlined in the announcement.
The Los Angeles YMCA partnered with the Southern California Committee for the Olympic Games to offer students and their families virtual workouts and speeches from Olympians and Paralympians. We spoke to the president of the committee about the program's value.
Because every single one of these champions, these Paralympians and Olympians, they all have these incredible stories and life lessons, and this really gives them a platform to share those with kids of today. And again, so not only are they teaching them how to work out and how to hopefully give them the tools for a healthy lifestyle, but also sharing stories from their daily lives, about how they've overcome challenges and goal setting and growth mindset. And the hope is that these kids are able to apply just a little bit of that to their daily lives.
Ready Set Gold is available to students for free in the Los Angeles Unified School District. It'll have closed captioning in both Spanish and English.
I'm JILLIAN Carroll reporting from New York City. The NCAA is writing legislation to enable college athletes to profit off of their name, image, and likeness. Another proposal will allow athletes to transfer to another school without waiting an entire season to play. The new NCAA rules will focus on 3 issues. Athletes can profit off of endorsements and autographs. They can operate camps under their names, but they cannot use the school name or logo in any promotional material. Athletes wanting to transfer must notify their school by May 1st and meet certain academic requirements. There is no limit on the number of transfers a school can take. I spoke with Annenberg professor Daniel DURBIN about the new transfer proposals.
There's no indication that you're going to suddenly have a flood of players going to the big name programs, but it certainly offers players an opportunity to hopefully move forward with their careers if they were in a position where they just couldn't do anything where they currently are.
If the proposals are ratified in the January vote, they will go into effect next fall. Let's send it over to Ava Brand with an update on Trojan football.
Thanks, Jillian. Trojan football is just 25 days away, and the excitement continues to grow after offensive guard Elijah Vera Tucker announced he is coming back. Vera Tucker spoke today about his decision to return after opting out of a potential season last month.
Definitely wasn't something that I thought about as soon as they announced the fall season was returning. But after that, I thought, why not come back and compete with my brothers, compete for a Pac-12 championship.
Offensive coordinator Graham Harrell says he is enthusiastic about seeing Vera Tucker play with the younger offensive linemen.
We signed a great class of all linemen last year. We got some young ones that are emerging and doing some good things. And so there is some shuffling around that goes up there just to kind of play with the lineup. But that's a good unit. And, for us, if we're good up front, we got a chance to win a whole lot of football games.
Tough news for Dodgers fans. Clayton Kershaw will not start in Game 2 of the National League Championship Series due to back spasms. Manager Dave Roberts says Kershaw will not play in Game 3 either, but a Game 4 return is still possible. That's it for sports. Back to you, Zoe and Ella.
We've heard of taking the show on the road. Well, this artist is taking the show to his backyard. USC Roski alum Josh Beliso was planning an art exhibition last spring when the pandemic hit. Now he's displaying his 3D art pieces to his friends and family right in the comfort of his own yard.
I wanted to give people the opportunity to kind of enact these objects themselves. So I had a lot of that Groucho Marx disguise glasses provided so people could wear them while they were walking around. The main takeaway is that this was kind of a blessing in disguise. I get to enjoy people in the space. The best takeaway, another takeaway, I guess, for me is that it's like I get to see people smile. I get to see people laugh. I get to see people stop like freaking out and being like depressed.
While most of Josh's pieces were created before COVID-19, he does hope that his art will bring much needed humor and levity during these very strenuous times.
Move over, Starbucks. A new coffee pop-up is in town. Cup of Troy is a pop-up coffee shop run by a group of USC students out of their house. All of their drinks and pastries are made from scratch by the team. We spoke to the two co-founders who started this business over a month ago.
Yeah, and I'm just super happy because not only have we gotten friends, we've gotten random neighbors, people that I've never met from other parts of USC that have heard about it. It's pretty cool.
We like to focus on our specialty drinks, that's a rotating menu, and so we try to create unique recipes and drinks. We also like to have fresh pastries, and our friend Quincy, he's great at baking and he loves to bake, so he'll come up with ideas for that.
Cup of Troy isn't open every weekend, but you can find more information about their menu and hours on their Instagram, Cup of Troy.
So, Friday?
Yeah. Let's go. You tell me what time. I'm there. I want an iced chai.
Oat milk latte?
Oat milk latte. I want all of it.
All right, well, that wraps it up for us on this Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in.
From all of us here at Annenberg TV News, have a good night.